I, 20M, have a massive crush on a graduating senior, 22F, in my lab who leaves in a few days. Is my last-minute plan to ask her out a bad idea? I am not OOP. OOP is you/BigBallNut2 originally posted to our/engineering students I, 20M, have a massive crush on a graduating senior, 22F, in my lab who leaves in a few days. Is my last-minute plan to ask her out a bad idea? Original post, May 20th, 2026. Hey everyone, I need some outside perspective because I'm completely overthinking this. I'm a 20-year-old rising junior engineering student. I study at a top 5 engineering school. I'm naturally a pretty introverted guy and my only ex actually asked me out in high school, so I have basically zero experience making the first move. Lately, I've been trying to put more effort into myself, such as working out, eating better, dressing nicer, and just trying to be a bit more outgoing. About 2 weeks ago, I joined an undergrad robotics research lab. There is a graduating senior, 22F, in the lab and I immediately developed a huge crush on her. The first time we interacted, I just asked her how to correctly pronounce her name, but since then we've been running some field tests and trials together. She is incredibly smart, always put together, and just has a really amazing smile. Here is the problem, she is leaving in a few days. She's moving out of state for the summer to do an internship at a big defense contractor. She is coming back to campus in the fall to start her master's, but she probably won't be in this specific lab anymore. Over the last few days, I actually managed to have some normal conversations with her without completely freezing up. Since she moved to the US a few years ago, we talked a bit about her home country and she gave me some recommendations on where to visit. We also joked a little bit about the weather where she's moving. Nothing super deep, but it felt really natural. The craziest part was when I mentioned I hadn't seen the rest of the lab building yet, and she voluntarily offered to give me a tour. She volunteered and there were other people in the room. That gave me crazy butterflies, but I keep telling myself she's just being friendly to the new guy. I know if I don't do anything before she leaves, I'm going to regret it all summer and wonder what if. But I also embarrass really easily, and I absolutely cannot make a move in front of our professor or the other guys in the lab. I don't want to make things weird or unprofessional for her on her last day. So here is my plan. I'm going to find out if her official last day is Friday or Monday. Whenever she is packing up to leave for the last time, I'm going to wait until she says goodbye to everyone else. When she actually heads for the door, I'll grab my bag and just tell her I'll walk out with her. Once we're in the hallway or walking outside and completely away from our coworkers, I plan to ask for her Instagram so we can stay in touch over the summer. After she puts it in my phone, I want to just tell her I hope she has a great internship, and that I'd love to take her out for coffee when she gets back to campus in the fall so she can tell me about it. I feel like this makes my intentions clear, but also gives her an easy out if she isn't interested since she can just say she'll be busy. Am I completely delusional for trying this? Is saying I want to take her out too aggressive for a guy who just joined the lab? Please let me know if this sounds like a natural way to do it or if I'm going to completely crash and burn. To summarize, introverted 20M with zero game has a massive crush on a 22F senior in my lab who leaves for an out-of-state internship in a few days. My plan is to walk her out on her last day, get her IG, and tell her I'm taking her out for coffee when she returns for her master's in the fall. Is this a solid, confident move, or way too aggressive? Edit, thank you for all the advice and support. I will update you guys once I do it. Edit 2, I will be attempting this on Tuesday. Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1, your plan sounds completely reasonable. You're being respectful, waiting until she's leaving, and keeping it low pressure. Asking for her Instagram and saying you'd like to grab coffee when she's back is a very normal move. Even if she says no, you'll probably feel better knowing you at least tried instead of wondering about it all summer. OOP, I will get it done. For some reason I am super scared of rejection. I never thought I was. I know it's illogical. A rejection at least gives me clarity. But I am still so scared. Commenter 2, I am a woman, Booyui, ask her out. Be respectful. Just tell her you think she's smart and you think she's cool and that you would like to hang out and get to know her better. You don't have to go crazy, just ask her for coffee or something easy so it's less pressure. Good luck. OOP, I will do, smiley face. What do you think I should say or do if she either says no to the Instagram, unlikely, or no to the coffee date, likely, or maybe she has a boyfriend? She hasn't mentioned one ever though. Commenter 3, I didn't read any of this. To be honest, overthinking crushes is a waste. Ask her out. Be polite, if she says no that's fine. Good luck partner. Commenter 4, your plan relies on too many things going right. She goes to the last class. She says goodbye to everyone and doesn't just lump you in. She even says goodbye to people. No one else walks out with her. The hallway is empty. See what I'm getting at? Ask for her phone number and IG and ask her if she'd like to get together when she's back. Ask her if she's leaving immediately or if she's around for a couple of days first. If she says she's around but packing, you could always offer to help. You need to be more direct. Update, May 28, 2026, 8 days later. Update, I, 20M, have a massive crush on a graduating senior, 22F, in my lab who leaves in a few days. Is my last-minute plan to ask her out a bad idea? Hey everyone, I promised an update once I actually went through with it. First, I wanted to say thank you for all the supportive comments on my original post, https://www.reddit.com/r/engineeringstudents/s/9hjopmsv. Reading your advice really gave me the final push I needed. A quick recap, I'm an introverted junior engineering student with a massive crush on a graduating senior in my lab who was about to leave for an out-of-state internship. My original plan was to walk her out on her last day, get her IG, and tell her I'd love to take her for coffee in the fall when she returns for her master's. Well, as many of you rightly pointed out in the comments of the first post, relying on perfect last-minute plans is usually a bad idea in engineering and life. A lot of you advised me to do it earlier because of how unpredictable final day logistics can be. You were absolutely correct, and I learned that lesson the hard way. Here's what actually happened. The day arrived. I was prepared to execute the in-person plan. I was already sweating bullets. Then, I found out through the grapevine that a last-minute, unpredictable issue popped up on her end. Plans changed, and it became highly unlikely that she would even be coming into the lab in person before she officially headed out. My entire strategy for the week completely evaporated. If I hadn't prepared a backup plan, I would have been completely doomed, which I almost was. Instead of letting it die there, I realized I had to pivot. Since the optimal in-person move was off the table, I went for my unoptimal plan and decided to reach out to her over a messaging app we use for lab coordination. I knew it wasn't the ideal scenario you guys advised me on, but it was the only card I had left. I started the conversation smoothly, framing it around a robotics question we had been working on. After we wrapped that up, I just made the transition. I stated that since I wouldn't get to see her before she headed out, I wanted to grab her Instagram so we could keep in touch over the summer. I told her I hoped she had a great internship, and that once she was back on campus in the fall, I'd love to take her out for a coffee date so she could tell me all about it. It felt like I had typed that sentence out 100 times before actually hitting send. I just sat there staring at the screen. Then she replied, "Yeah, I'd love that." She gave me her handle, I confirmed requesting her, and she finished with a definitive "Thanks, see you in August." However, I am still an introverted overthinker, and as many of you can probably empathize, getting the solution to work doesn't always stop the analysis. My anxiety brain is already worrying about one specific detail, and I could use some final perspective on it. In my message, I said I'd take her for a coffee date so you can tell me all about it. I felt like this was a competent way to pitch a casual meeting, but now I'm slightly worried I didn't make the intent explicit enough. Part of me is worrying, did she only agree to a yes to coffee as a friendly, platonic, let's catch up on summer interns move? Or is it generally understood that a guy asking you to go out for a coffee date when you return is romantic, even if the phrasing includes catching up on a trip? Thank you again to this subreddit for being one of the only places where people actually understood my plan deeply and didn't just think I was crazy. Edit, to the people who are viewing this post later, could you tell me how I should approach this summer? I have her Instagram, have had for 2 days now. Do I wait till August and then reach out to her? Or, should I wait for her to post a story and then reply to it? Or, do I just cold text her? Comments. Commenter 1, congrats bro, I commented on your first post. You got all summer to make your intent more clear until she comes back, get your game on. Commenter 2, I also commented on the first post, I hope the original poster doesn't get friend-zoned. I would say nothing has implied anything beyond a platonic meetup, but lots of relationships start that way, so it's not a huge issue. OOP, I mean I did call it a coffee date. Commenter 3, dude this is so wholesome, I love it. As another introverted overthinker I'd like to offer alternatives, /1. She is also overthinking the interaction. Most women are aware of the chance that a guy friend likes them, and when a guy asks for their Insta and then drops the word date, they have strengthened suspicions. /1.1 She might reach out to you again trying to suss out your intentions via casual conversation. /1.2 She might simply take you at face value and consider it a planned date which you'll obviously have to discuss in detail come August and only at that time learn her interpretation. /2 She might feel confused at your wording in a different way. If you're initiating contact then you're interested in her, platonic or romantic. If you're interested in her, you'd want to talk to her, plus you asked for her Insta for that exact reason, keeping in touch. /2.1 She might think you're just friendly and is happy you asked to keep in touch because she enjoys your company. /2.2 She might think you don't want to actively talk about your respective internships, because you set the topic, intern, and time, August, Several months out /2.2.1 She might be apprehensive about initiating a conversation with you even if 2.1 is true. This is based on my experiences with other, largely introverted, engineering students. I hope with different perspectives you can deduce which seems most probable or realize there's endless possibilities as to how she feels, and the simplest solution is to talk to her, get to know her outside of the classroom, gather more data, and return to the overthinking process. A new man OOP. I liked this breakdown. Commenter 4. Part of me is worrying. Did she only agree to a yes to coffee as a friendly, platonic let's catch up on summer interns move? Did you use the word date? Because while it's technically possible to think it's platonic, it's highly unlikely and an error on her part if so. Go in with the confidence and assuming that she wanted to go on a romantic date with you, and if she misinterpreted then that's on her and you can discuss it from there. OOP. I did use the word date in my message. I called it a coffee date. Do not comment in linked posts or message OOPs. BORU rule number 7. This is a repost sub. I am not OOP.